Kia ora, Sam here. We have a 20-minute rebuild core session planned for you. I am joined by Katie today as well. We've got a playlist that you can plug into to get you in the mood to work that core. Once you've played that, it's just in the link below. You can come down onto your mat and we will get started. So we're going to be starting in a seated position here. Our feet are going to come placed onto the mat just a little bit further away from you. So you'll still have a bend in those knees, but we're going to stay a little bit longer. Coming onto your sit bones here, so you might need to pull out a little bit of flesh there, really sinking down, feeling those sit bones into the mat. Holding onto your thighs behind your knees here. I want you to give your shoulders a big shrug up, back and down, making a big circle. We're going to go through that 2 more times. So shrugging your shoulders nice and big, sitting nice and tall. 1 more here. Shrugging all the way up and down. So I want you to hold those shoulders back nice and open, opening that chest nice and wide. From here, you're going to send your eyesight looking forward here. We're going to tuck that tailbone under and then following, drawing a nice big C shape with that spine as we start to lower ourselves down, just to a point that you can come back up. Then we're going to curl back up, so restacking ourselves so that we're sitting nice and tall, lengthening that spine at the top. We go again, tucking under here. So curling that tailbone under, lowering ourselves down and stacking back up. So we'll go 1 more here, nice and controlled, lowering down and then coming all the way back up. If you want to stay here for a little bit longer or for the rest of this little sequence here, you're more than welcome if that's enough for you. Otherwise, we're going to go through the same movement here. This time, we're just going to extend our right fingertips long. So our left hand stays underneath here. We curl under, tuck that tailbone. Reach those fingertips long. So we're really creating that nice big C shape here. And then stacking up here. Sitting tall, we go again, tucking under, reaching long. That's it. This time as we stack, can we reach those right fingertips up to the sky? Nice. And bringing them back down as we start to curl down. Beautiful. Coming back up, reaching long. 1 more on this side. We go again, tucking under, really curling, crinkling the front of our t-shirt long. Sitting up nice and tall, 1 big reach. And relaxing, placing that right hand underneath that right leg. Our left fingertips come nice and long. We go again on this side, tucking under, lowering down, just to that point where you can come back up. Sitting tall, reaching those left fingertips nice and high. There we go. We go again. So just feeling in with that tail tuck, with that pelvic tilt as we lower down, starting to feel those core muscles working, checking in with those there. That's it. We go under, 2 more here. Reach those fingertips long, stacking everything up. 1 more here, tucking under. Reach the fingertips to the ceiling and then return back to center here. So you can keep moving through that, otherwise we're going to build on top of this layer again. This time both fingertips are going to come nice and long here. You may, if you have a cushion, you may want to sit under that or place it just underneath you here so that as you lower down you have a little bit more support as we're releasing those hands. So there's going to be a little bit more work, a little bit more demand on those core muscles here. So when we're ready, sitting nice and tall, reaching both fingertips long in front of us here, tucking that tailbone under, starting to lower ourselves down, just to a point where you feel that burn, feel it working, and then we come back up. curling, sitting tall. That's it. We're tucking down. We're rolling back, keeping those fingertips long. Back to the start. We go again like this. That's it. Remembering to breathe here. So you may exhale as we lower down, curling forward. Inhale as we stack. Otherwise, we're just breathing at a rhythm that feels nice for you. That's it. Lower down. Really curling forward. This time as we stack, we raise both hands up here. We lower them down, tucking that tailbone, rolling back, seeing if we can go a little bit lower this time. Nice. If you need to take a moment, you can come back into that lovely stretch here. You can just hang off those legs. Otherwise, we keep moving. That's it. Lower down. Stacking ourselves up, really lengthening through the crown of our head. We've got 2 more here. Curling forward, really making that C shape nice and strong. Coming into that last one, we'll lower down here. We're just going to hold for a moment. Just pausing, reaching those fingertips a little bit further, curling a little bit more, making sure that tailbone stays tucked. We're here for 3, 2, 1, reaching up. Final reach to the ceiling, and then placing those hands back down. Just going to lengthen out both of those legs here. Give them a little bit of a shake. Check in, making sure our hips don't feel too tight. If they do, you can take a quick stretch here. Otherwise, you can come back in and join us. So we're going to place our hands behind us, fingertips facing towards our feet. Our legs are going to stay long and our toes are going to come flexed. I want you to tuck that tailbone slightly, creating that nice C shape with that spine. So we're still engaging those core muscles here. We won't be in this shape for long. So just a little bit more work here and then we'll move on to something else. So when you're ready, we're going to bend our right leg into our chest here, just as far as possible, and then send it long. Staying with the right leg, we go again. Bending it in, reaching long. So making sure that tailbone stays tucked, and we're curling those shoulders forward. We're here for 3. That's it. Last 2. 1 more here. Sending them long, pressing up through those palms, opening that chest nice and wide, drawing those shoulders back, and then curling back into that start position again. We go to the left side, so bending in, sending them long. That's it. So just remembering to move in a range that feels good for you. Keeping that breath flowing. Nice. 3 more seconds here. That's it. Last one. Sending those toes long. Pressing up, opening up through that chest. Beautiful. 1 big breath in. And relax. We're going to come over to a 4-point kneeling here. So swing your legs around, coming up onto your hands and knees. We're just going to take a gentle cat-cow here to begin with. So making sure everything is stacked on top of each other. So shoulders on top of wrists, hips on top of knees. When you're ready, lifting your gaze up towards the ceiling, letting your belly drop slightly towards the mat. And then we reverse it, pressing that chest up away from the mat. Eyes will go to your thighs. Nice, we go again, dropping down, seeing if we can sink a little bit further here. And reverse, stretching the back of our t-shirt up towards the ceiling. 1 more on each way here. Nice, really sinking in. Really pressing away. And we're going to just come to a place in between these two here. So we're going to move into a sequence, but we're going to start with our legs and then we will build from there. So when we're ready, we're going to take our right toes, give them a bit of a point, and we're just going to slide them along the mat here, holding them out the back. Just pausing here, checking in with those hips. Are they staying square, nice and level? Is our weight in the middle here? So our nose will be in between our hands, same with our belly button, in between those knees. We're just going to lift our right toes up so that we're drawing a nice straight line. Tap them down here. Reach them long. And drop, that's it. So we're just lifting and lowering those right toes. Thinking about lifting that belly up away from the mat here. Keeping that distance between our lower ribs and our hips nice and steady. So we're really tucking those in, supporting ourselves here. That's it, we'll go for 3 more reps. Last 2. Last one here, we're going to lift and hold. We're going to bend that right leg, opening it out to the side, bringing it around towards that elbow, just as far as you can. You may be able to touch it, you may not, just working with your range, and then sending it long. So keeping everything nice and stable, we bend towards that elbow, sending it long. We've got one more like this here. That's it, bend it in. Send it long, hold for a moment, bringing that right leg down. Just going to sit back into child's pose here. You may want to roll out those wrists, taking a big breath, and then we will come back to that other side. So when we're ready, finding that 4-point kneeling here. So setting up again, lifting that chest up away from that mat, drawing that belly in, so setting our ribs and our hips drawn towards each other, holding that. Pointing those left toes here, making sure we're all lined up through the middle, so our nose between our hands, our belly button between that midline as well. And then when we're ready, we extend those left toes long, leveling out those hips, we lift our toes up. We drop them down. That's it. We lift and drop. If this is too much at all, we can keep our toes down on the ground here and you can just slide them in and slide them away. That's it. Just like we've done in some of those restore classes. Beautiful, nice and controlled, pointing those toes long. Keeping our chest lifted up away from that mat. So we're pressing evenly through those palms. Nice, we're here for 3 more reps. That's it. Last 2. Last 1. We're lifting up and holding here. So recentering ourselves. We're going to be bending that left knee towards our left elbow when we're ready. Bend it in. Just as far as we can go, lengthening it nice and long. That's it. And again. Trying to keep those hips nice and level here, so we don't want to fall too much over to that right side. So keeping those ribs tucked towards those hips, holding still. We've got 2 more. Nice, lengthening out. Last rep here. Bending it in. Reaching it long. Pausing for a moment. Lowering that leg down, sitting back to child's pose. Lengthening out, reaching those fingertips away. Just taking a nice big breath here. All right, coming back up here, We're going to be coming into a high kneeling position here, moving our focus into those obliques a little bit. So, coming up nice and high, we're going to have your knees underneath your hips. If you need a little bit more support, you can open them up slightly, but not too far. We want to keep everything nice and engaged here. So rolling those shoulders up and away, we really want to create that space between our ears and our shoulders, opening up that chest to the front and taking our fingertips down towards the ground, our palms facing our thighs. From here, we're going to slide our fingertips down towards the ground over to the right here, and then sliding them back up. I want you to think about keeping those hips nice and steady, facing forward. We're just bending from our sides here and then sliding back up. So just lowering ourselves down as far as we can without popping those hips out so they stay nice and steady. That's it, sliding away. So our arms stay nice and long, giving our butts a little bit of a squeeze here, playing around with that pelvic tilt here. So you may want to tilt it a little bit more and slide from there, just checking in with how that feels. You may want to release it a little bit more as well. So just finding a position here that works for you and how you feel today. Beautiful. Right, you can stay moving side to side here, otherwise we're going to come into a little bit more of an isolated movement. So pausing at the top when you're next there, your left fingertips are going to come onto your hip. We're just going to be sliding it down towards the right. So when you're ready, sliding away, reaching a little bit further this time, and then coming all the way back up. Quick pause, we go again. Reach those fingertips down. Coming back up, that's it. Remembering to use that breath. So finding that rhythm that works for you, that falls naturally. Got 2 more here. Reaching long. Nice. Last one, we're going to hold down and we're going to pulse up. So lift up an inch slightly, drop back down. Lift and drop. We're here for 5. 4. Beautiful. 3, keeping that chest nice and open. 2, and 1, restacking that spine up, giving those shoulders a bit of a roll. We're going to come into that other side, so placing our right fingertips on here, drawing those shoulders down and away, setting that tailbone, so finding that position that works for you, and then we go lowering down towards the left, coming back up. That's it, breathing through. We lower down, restacking, amazing. That's it, keeping those hips nice and steady, making sure we're not dropping over. We want to lock them in. We lower down. That's it. Here for 3 more. And then we're coming into those pulses. Last 2. And 1, holding long here. We pulse it up and down. That's it. Here for 5. Opening that chest. Reaching a little bit further here. Last 3. Last 2. 1 final reach, restacking up. Reaching both fingertips down and away, up to the ceiling. Nice big stretch here. And then opening out to the side, sitting back onto our hips here. Giving those shoulders 1 big final roll up and down. I'm going to come into a gentle side stretch from this kneeling position. So placing those left fingertips down, reaching up and over. Maybe your eyes come up to the ceiling. And then we come back the other way, reaching long. And back to center. That is our class finished for today. Hopefully you'll be feeling a little bit more stronger through that core after this. If you have any questions or have any comments, let us know below, and we will see you in the next video.